What's up, everyone? It's season 1, episode 9 already of Is This What It Is? Let's get this shit going. Let's have a good morning, a good day, good afternoon, good evening, all that shit, you know? We're starting off the day with good energy today. And on that note, I gotta find my fucking lighter. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry, okay? Because you guys are fucking pieces of shit. No, I'm kidding. Alright, on a more positive note, let's light this fucking blunt. This is history. We're making history. This is the first blunt we're gonna smoke on the show. I hope you got a blunt rolled. You know what I'm saying? I've been smoking joints. Pause. For the majority of the show. And now we start the day off with a nice blunt. Woo! Oh, man. Oh, shit. Woo! Okay, so today I'm gonna give my predictions for UFC 300. I know UFC 299 still hasn't happened yet, but yesterday I checked the card for UFC 300 and the matchups on it. And I'm like, oh shit, this is fucking stacked. This card is crazy stacked. I know this card has been getting a lot of promotion. I feel like it's been getting more than UFC 299 as far as promotion goes, but I was like thinking, like, why are they fucking hyping up this card so much? The first fight that I heard about on the card was Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway for the BMF belt. So I thought that was just going to be the main event. And then, I check and I'm just like, oh shit, there's a fucking shitload of great fights on this card. So I'm going to predict more fights for this card than usual, because that's how you know it's really it's gonna be a great card. Before I get to my predictions, I'm gonna fucking get some water. We're gonna take this airplane to about 30,000 feet. And I want y'all to get high as fuck like I am. Like I'm about to be. So now this is your pilot. We're cruising at about 30,000 feet. The flight is going to LAX. We're going back to Cali. Shout out to Biggie. Rest in peace. Biggie Smalls. And so, let's get to it. UFC 300. The main event. We have the light heavyweight title. Or should I say the co-main event. No, actually, they call the last fight the main event. And then if there's another title fight or two more, that's the co-main event, I guess. I don't know what the fuck. What's the difference? Main event, main event. Main event, baby event. Alright, so you got Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill for the light heavyweight championship. Alex Pereira's record is 9 wins, 2 losses. He doesn't have a draw on his record. Jamal Hill, 12 wins, 1 loss. No draw on his record. So, this is a great fucking fight. And, before I even speak about my prediction for the fight, I want to talk about the history of the light heavyweight division. Because it seems like for the past fucking, 10 years, 12 years, it's just been John Jones and Daniel Cormier, they've been the champions of the division for so long. And so this fight is very important because this is like one of the first real fights to where John Jones or DC is not going to be, I guess if you want to call it, looming over the division. But, although we appreciate them having the same champions for so long, it gets repetitive, when you want to sell UFC pay-per-views, from the perspective of the UFC, it's like, yo, what the fuck, bro? And that's not even that's not even no shade towards them, but it's like, yo, I understand that it may be difficult to promote the same fighters for so many years, especially when, from time to time they're gonna have fights to where the fans think the other person won the fight and the judges were biased towards the champion and they gave him the decision, like Dominic Reyes and Alexander Gustafsson versus John Jones. But when you have 2 fighters that are so great that aren't getting knocked out or submitted, that's just what's gonna happen. That's why they call it title reign. And that's why they say you gotta really fucking take the belt, from the champion. Cause fucking, that's just what it is. So I think it was like John Jones got injured and then they had the interim belt. And then he just didn't come back to the light heavyweight division. He won the heavyweight championship. And then he got injured there. So then, who was it that won the belt? I think it was Glover. And then Yuri Prohaska beat Glover Teixeira. And even in that fight, he was losing really badly. I think he had the submission win in the last round, late stages of the last round. So, even his championship, people were like questioning that. They're like, yo, you pretty much lost the whole fight and you got lucky, or whatever they wanted to say, because Glover Teixeira, he rocked Yuri really badly with the punch and was about to get the finish with the TKO, and then he went for a submission. He went for a guillotine. Yuri Prohaska ended up getting out and, he won the fight by rear naked choke, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it's like you got fucking that happening. And then who did Yuri lose to? I believe he lost to Jamal Hill, maybe. And then he got injured. And then I think Pereira either got the interim belt or he beat Yuri Prohaska in his last fight, which was his first fight at light heavyweight. And, people want to be saying like, oh, it was an early stoppage, but it looked legitimate to me from my experience in sports and my viewpoint. And Yuri Prohaska said it himself that it was a legit stoppage. So when you have a fighter, you know, he trained so hard for that fight. And it's like, yo, what the fuck, bro? He said he lost the fight. He said it was a legitimate stoppage and that he was done. And when a fighter says they're done, that means they had nothing left. You know, he was hurt so bad to where he couldn't fight anymore. And so when you see so many fights to where a fighter gets TKO'd or choked out, pause, and then, you know, they get back, they regain consciousness and they argue with the referee, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the fans had more of a say to be like, oh yeah, it was an early stoppage. If Yuri himself would have argued, but he's not arguing. So fucking what the fuck do you want? I don't know what you want me to tell you, but that's just what it is, you know? And so now he's going to be fighting for the belt. That's how it goes. You fucking cry about it all you want. I don't give a fuck at all, you know? Because Yuri doesn't fucking even care enough to go and protest the stoppage or whatever. I don't even know if you can do that, but, you know? I know you can protest the decision with the commission. You know what I'm saying? So, there's that. Alright, so, my prediction for this fight, Pereira versus Hill, is I think Jamal Hill is going to win by decision. I think he's going to control the majority of the fight with the wrestling because he saw what Israel Adesanya did to Alex Pereira, you know, in their first UFC fight, you know, to where you got the decision that way. Or was that their second fight? I forget the timeline sometimes because it's like, you know, whatever. But yeah, so he's seen how Adesanya was able to control him with the wrestling for a lot of the fight. So it's like, from his perspective, it's like, yo, if he can do that, I know I'm a better wrestler than him. So, yeah, I think Pereira's going to do good with the stand-up. But I think his perspective is just that he's going to knock him out, you know, like he did with Yuri and like he did with so many other fighters in his career in kickboxing and MMA. So, you know, I think his objective is always kill the opponent, quite literally. You know, he comes from, I believe, the Amazon. He's from Brazil, so they got that kind of a wild fighting style, you know? They come from warriors, and so does Jamal Hill. I'm not saying he doesn't, but their perspective of Pereira is like, yeah, knockout. To where I think Jamal Hill is a more complete martial artist, to where he'll go for a submission more often, and he'll have more of a game plan. And so to speak about Jamal Hill's fighting style, he's like, you know, he's a great striker. And I don't know his background, but he seems like a, you know, like he'll fight in the streets. And so there's proof of that because he recently got arrested for hitting his brother. And, you know, not even going to disrespect him for that. I don't know what happened there, but. So his style, he got kind of like a street fighting style. Like a street fighter that learned MMA. And got really great with the technique to where he's at a championship level. And so, you know, he knows how to throw kicks. He's not just like a street fighter to where he just throws wild punches and things like that. So he's improved on his wrestling. And, you know, so I think his wrestling is going to be good enough to where Alex Pereira, most of his style is striking. So when you're striking, a lot of times you become susceptible to a takedown in the middle of throwing a strike. So I believe Jamal's going to, you know, catch him after he throws a punch or, you know, get him with a takedown, pause, and then control most of the fight from there with strikes and submission attempts to where he's going to get a decision. I think he has the belt, right? So that's going to be in still. So that's my prediction. Second fight on the list, we got Zhang Weili versus Yao Xiaonan for the women's strawweight championship. Zhang Weili is 24-3. She doesn't have a draw on her decision, on her record. And Yao Xiaonan is 17-3-0. Yeah, so I'm just going to be honest. I don't know too much about Yao Xiaonan, but I do know that Zhang Weili is a savage, a great striker. And I got her winning by TKO. Now, as far as the round, I'm going to say round 3, you know. From her record, Yan Xiaonan, she has a good record, so I do think she's gonna be able to fight for three rounds. But you know, Zhang Weili's striking is just so sharp, and it's gonna be difficult for anyone to beat her. You know, she has great grappling. You know, she knows how to defend against submissions, and she has a very high fight IQ. So I think, yeah, I don't know. Good luck beating her. She's undefeated. Oh no, she has 3 losses. I was looking at the draw. But yeah, you know, she ain't got too many losses. I think she's gonna be champion for a while. I don't know who's gonna be able to beat her. So the next fight is Justin versus Max, and I already gave my prediction for that fight. You can check, it was like a couple episodes ago. So we're gonna move on, and that's for the BMF belt, by the way. So the next fight, it's Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. This is gonna be a great fight, and I'll explain why. It's gonna be a great fight. So both of these fighters have great, really great grappling. I mean, if you look at Charles Oliveira in his career, he's a jiu-jitsu world champion, and that's not easy to do because there's jiu-jitsu practitioners all over the world. So, you know, if you've ever done jiu-jitsu, you'll know what I'm talking about. I know from the outside looking in, people who have never competed, they look at grappling as sort of like whatever. They'll just like call it gay because they have no idea what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They've probably been choked out before, and so, you know, things like that. Or they haven't had any experience at all to know how difficult it is to become a world champion in that sport. So yeah, Oliveira has a great grappling in jiu-jitsu, and so does Arman. So both have great striking. I'd give the striking edge to Oliveira. Pause. And, you know, but I do think Arman Tsarukyan is smart enough to just be careful with the submission attempts with Oliveira, and I think he's going to do enough, you know, with his takedowns and control time with the wrestling and he's going to be defensively sharp enough to where he doesn't get knocked out, and I think he'll win a decision. Next fight, Yuri Prohaska versus Alexander Rakic. So Yuri's record is 29-4-1. Rakic is 14-3-0. My prediction for this fight, I think, you know what? I was gonna say Yuri by decision, but I'm gonna go with Yuri by knockout, round 2. I think Rakic, you know, I don't want to get his record wrong. I think he might have been knocked out before, so if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I do think he's gonna get knocked out in this fight. I think Yuri's his mentality, you know, he's another fighter. He goes for the kill. You know, he's a killer. So I think he's gonna get him with the left head kick. Round 2. So the next fight is Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Another great fucking fight. This fucking card is crazy. I mean, seriously, you gotta watch this fight. I mean, all the fights on the card, you know, pretty much you gotta watch this fucking fight card. This is gonna be sick. So Calvin Kattar, I'd say he's more of a striker, and we've seen from Aljamain Sterling that he likes to wrestle. They call him the backpack or whatever they call him. He's a great fighter. So his last fight he lost by KO to Sean O'Malley. You know, he got caught slipping. You know, he went to strike, but he kind of threw a half-ass jab or whatever he threw, and you can't do that with a fighter as sharp as O'Malley. So yeah, you know, I feel like people are gonna count him out this fight, but I think he's gonna win by decision. I think he's gonna do enough, you know, with his wrestling. He's gonna have a lot of submission attempts. I know he goes for the rear naked choke a lot, pause. So yeah, I think he's gonna control the fight with this grappling. I think the striking is going to be pretty even. So I think Sterling gets the decision. I don't got too much to say about this fight, other than it's going to be a great fucking fight. Both are really great fighters to watch. I know people talk shit about Sterling because he wrestles a lot, but as far as, you know, when you know about the sport and technique, you can appreciate his fighting style and how difficult it is to defend against his wrestling. So the next fight, Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Another great fucking fight. I mean, both have great striking and grappling. I'd say Figueiredo's jiu-jitsu is probably better than Cody's, but I think Cody is going to do enough with the striking. He may even get a couple knockdowns, but I think Figueiredo has a good enough chin pause to where he won't get KO'd. I think Cody's going to win the decision. You know? And both fighters have to be very careful of each other's striking and ability to win by submission. But especially, I think Cody really got to watch out for Figueiredo's submission attempts, and Figueiredo's really going to have to watch out with Cody's striking, because, you know, he does. So people talk about him, his defensive mishaps, you know, him getting TKO'd by TJ Dillashaw. But, you know, you look at the striker that TJ is, he's such a great striker. And I don't like him because he did steroids, but whatever. You know, as far as striking, I feel like you can't really talk too much shit about Cody because, you know, he lost to a great striker. So, you know, yeah, he drops his hands too much. That's legitimately, you know, you could say he has bad defense for that, but he's shown improvements and he's been winning by KO and, you know, being more defensively sharp. So I feel like you can't count him out, really. So then Cody wins the decision. Definitely get the pay-per-view. If not, go out, you know, to your local restaurant or wherever. Watch the fight. Because these fights are going to be fucking great, you know. So the next topic, the MLB preseason, the MLB preseason starts tomorrow, February 22, 2024. So let's fucking go, MLB. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch last season. I had a lot of shit going on last season. I started making music, you know, hip-hop music. Son, you listen to my fucking music at Gunvid 19. I make great music, you know, and I'd love to perform at Citi Field. I spoke about this before, but yeah, you know, it'd be fucking great. And you know, I feel like with music especially, people, they really just try to manifest things. They be like, oh yeah, this song's gonna be number one. They just like really fucking like, you know, they just like really try to force their music onto people because they know, or they don't believe that their music is as great as you know, other artists. But I'm confident with my music. I don't gotta beg anyone to fucking book me to do a show. You know, it's just something that I believe will happen just because of how great my music is, how fun it is to listen to, you know, the party songs, and how motivational and real the motivational songs are, how funny the diss tracks are, you know. So yeah, you know, looking forward to that shit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this season. I'm gonna be watching. I'm planning on being in attendance on, you know, multiple occasions. So let's go Mets. So yeah, the preseason starts tomorrow, and then the regular season starts on March 20th. They're gonna have the Dodgers versus the Padres in South Korea. So that's gonna be a great game. You know, I like how the MLB and even the NBA and the NFL, they have games overseas. I think it's a great way to get you know, get more fans from other countries interested in the sport. And not that they aren't, but it's always great to get new fans. And so yeah, there you go. Season 1, episode 9. Is this what it is? Like the video, follow and subscribe for more. Let's go.